right, good morning everybody, and welcome to another session here on Facebook Live. My name is Patrick France, Senior Instructor here at VectorVest. Glad to be with you all. Before we get started, just want to make sure everyone can hear me. If you can, if everything is coming through clearly for you, just let me know in the comments section. For anybody just tuning in for the first time, just to give you a little insight on what we do here. So every single Thursday we go live here on Facebook where we talk about what's going on in the market today. Then we talk about a general topic. Today we're going to be analyzing and looking at the brand new update for our Android users on the VectorVest Stock Advisory app and how it's going to benefit you, the new features, functionalities that it'll provide for you, which will be available. It should be available now, but maybe if it's not already available, it should be within the next 24 hours typically. And then, as always, we'll finish off with our personal fan favorite, where we'll show you how to analyze any stock in less than 20 seconds. So if you guys can hear me, awesome. There we go. I'm starting to see people come in. So if you guys can hear me, just let me know. Let me make sure the audio's good for you guys, and we'll go ahead and get started. So before we get started, hey there, Jay, welcome. Ryan, thank you for that. Hopefully they tune in as well. Thank you, everybody. Glad to have everyone here. I see Glenn's in the background. Hey there, Glenn. VectorVest Stock Advisory is a mobile app that analyzes, ranks, and sorts over 8,000 stocks in the U.S. market each and every day for value, safety, and timing. We also tell you when to buy, when not to buy. We also provide stop prices on each stock every day, and essentially, this mobile app is one of the most encompassing trading apps that you need to have, regardless of whether you're a long-time investor or a short-term trader. This has everything you could possibly imagine that you would need to help you get the right information and not just scads of data that you'd have to analyze on your own. We'll break down all the information for you, so that way we'll do the work, you get to reap the profits from it. Awesome. Hey there, Brian. Glad to have you here. Good morning. Nathan, hopefully you're doing well. Awesome. Yeah. So, as I see somebody just tuning in with, this will be a great overview of some of the new features available, for the Android, but also a great refresher for any, iOS users or Apple users. Because Apple users have very similar functionality. There are a few differences that I've been noticing as I've been going through the app. So let's go ahead and jump right into it today. We'll take a look at what's going on in the market, and then we'll move into our topic here today, where we'll really dive deep into the app, go over the changes, the features, all the new functionality that you have, and then we'll always finish off, as always, with our analyzing your stocks. So if you're new and you want to have your stocks analyzed, or if you're not already a subscriber and you want to have your stocks taken a look at, make sure to stick around towards the very end and we'll do that for you. All right. So as we can see right now, today, the market is somewhat bullish. VectorVest advocates buying safe, undervalued stocks that are rising in price at this time. As always, every single night we do about a 5 to 10 minute recap of what's going on in the market today, what to expect for tomorrow, what news you need to be aware of, and how to prepare yourself for the next trading day. This can be found in the market guidance videos, where you have the daily color guard report, and also on Fridays, the weekly special presentation. Below that, we get into the advanced to declines. And as always, we like to see if the market's moving higher, we want to see at least twice as many stocks advancing than declining, and just the inverse if the market's declining. So if the market's moving south, we want to see twice as many stocks declining than advancing, to know that we have a robust day in the market, and that the probabilities are in our favor of buying that day. So as we can see right now, we're sitting at about 50% of stocks advancing, 38% of stocks moving lower. So clearly not a 2-to-1 bias that we'd like to see. So therefore, we're probably going to hold off from buying anything right now. If we scroll down, take a look at the major indices. The Dow is down about 1/3%. NASDAQ is essentially flat. S&P is flat. Overall, though, the VectorVest composite up about 0.5% so far. So we do have a mixed bag with more stocks, or with a little less than a 2-to-1 bias with the advanced declines. Probably going to just simply hold off from buying today and just currently managing our holdings that we have. This has been the guidance that we've had over the last couple of weeks, because we have seen some softening in the market. So therefore, to go out and buy new stocks, probably not the best time. But if you're, still holding stocks, this is the time just to manage those positions. Wait for a better buying opportunity here. Also, if you are new here or if you're just tuning in, don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to hit that share button. All that helps me out, lets me know you guys are enjoying these sessions. So just want to throw that out. If you haven't already done that, make sure to do so. All right, so now that we see what's going on in the market here today, we have a relatively mixed market, back and forth between positive and negative. Overall, the market by the VectorVest composite standpoint is up about 0.5%, even though the major indices are down a little bit. And this is really why we utilize the VectorVest composite. It's an arithmetic indexed average of about 8,200 stocks in the US market, as I mentioned earlier. And we feel it gives us a better representation on what's going on in the market, because it's not just looking at the Dow's 30 or the Nasdaq's 100 or the S&P's 500, but it's looking at 8,200 stocks. So, it gives us a better representation on which way the market is actually moving. Good morning, Bill. Hopefully you're doing well. All right. Oh. Sorry, folks. I'm an Apple person by heart. Getting familiar with the Android. I've used the Android a few times, but still think I'm gonna. I got a little bit of time to get used to it here. All right. So as you can see, we have the overview section at the top. Just like the Apple version, we have the magnifying glass in the upper right. And that's where you can analyze your stocks, which we'll see here in a little bit. But now what we're going to do is we're going to go through each section, which you can navigate through the bottom menu, where you have the watch list, portfolios, picks, and also the more settings. And that's really where we're going to start. So if you're brand new to the Stock Advisory app, as always, we always recommend the first thing you should do is build a watch list of your stocks. The watch list is like having a personal money manager where it'll tell you what stocks you should, not be worried about and what stocks you should really focus on. So let's go ahead and build one today. So we'll click on the little plus symbol in the bottom right and start to type in our symbols. If you guys have some symbols you want to put in here, let me know in the comment section. We can build a list of your guys' stocks here today and not just some predetermined stocks to make everything look good. So if you have stocks, let me know in the comments what you guys want to see in this watch list and we'll get it added here. So while we're waiting on some of those, because I know there is a delay from me talking to when you guys are actually seeing it. So I'll go ahead and start adding in just a couple of them that are popular here. So we'll go to the top. NIO is usually one that comes up many times. Apps is one that comes up many times. Let's see what else we have here. BABA is one that's come up recently a lot. So we'll go ahead and add that in there. And let's see. CL, there we go. Now everybody's starting to chime in. So CLPR. And the great thing about this is if you're not familiar with your ticker symbol, but you know the company name, that's okay. Because when you go in here, you can look it up by either symbol or company name. So that way, you never will miss a stock that you're looking for. So CLPR, go ahead and add that in. Duke. Let's go ahead, DUKE. So as you can see, Duke Energy, didn't know this symbol, so you start to type in Duke and it gives you a search results right there. Just tap on it to add it into the list. DHI. DR Horton. Let's see what else we got here today. Let's go ahead. We'll add in Tesla, TSLA, because that's been a popular one here as well. And we've got 7 of them so far. We'll add 2 more. Let's go ahead and add Facebook. We'll go ahead and take that. And what's the biotech that everybody's been talking about recently? Let's do, trying to recall it off the top of my head. There's a few more. PROSY. There we go. Space, SPCE. There we go. BBBY. There we go. AZN. Awesome. And you guys are spitting them out, so I'll keep adding them in. HMY, there we go. And then lastly, mRNA. That's the one I was looking for. mRNA, there we go. Once you've got your stocks, you just simply tap on Create Watch List at the bottom. Give it a name, so we'll just title this FBL for Facebook Live. Create Watch List. Why did it do that? This should have been fine. Give me 1 second here. All right. Let's go ahead and delete that. Do this over again real quick. Apps. Baba. DUK. And also, I'm doing this all one-handed. So as you can see, it's not too hard to get your portfolio put in here. DUK. There we go. Just for time's sake, I'm going to do it I'm going to use both hands this time. NIO. MNRA. Or mRNA. Let's go ahead. HMY. There we go. AZN. BBBY. SPCE. There we go. Did I get them all? Let me make sure. CLPR. One more. PFE. I want to make sure I get everybody's in here. I thought I had, did I not have DHI? DHI, okay, perfect. One last quick check. PFE, DHI, Amazon. AMZN. Create watch list. There we go. All right, so as we can see, we've got our list. It always defaults to our master indicator, VST, standing for value, safety, and timing. And that way it automatically will bring the best performers to the top of the list and the worst performers to the bottom. If you're brand new to the mobile app, one of the simplest things you can do is changing that rank by from VST to RT. And using the sort by and to the right of it, you can change it to ascending order. And this will bring the worst performers to the top and the best performers at the bottom. So essentially what you're doing, using RT, it's looking at the short-term price trend of the overall market. And so anything with an RT above 1 means it's in an uptrend or simply making us money. Anything with an RT below 1 means it's in a downtrend or losing us money. And if you're brand new getting started with the app, you always want to analyze your worst performers first to figure out where you can free up cash so that way you can reinvest it into stocks that'll actually make you money. So AstraZeneca is number 1 with an RT of 0.91. Go into the analysis. We can see we get the 4 main key indicators. The RV standing for relative value, RS for relative safety, RT for relative timing, and VST for value, safety, and timing. It's a combination of all 3 of those. All of these 4 indicators are cast on a scale of 0 to 2 to keep it simple for you. So the RV, or the relative value, is looking at the long-term potential over the next 1 to 3 years when compared to a AAA corporate bond. Above 1, we'd expect to see outperform a AAA corporate bond. Below 1, underperform a AAA corporate bond. 0.69, that shows we expect it to underperform compared to a AAA corporate bond. The next is the RS, or relative safety. So this is looking at the consistency and predictability of the company's financial performance. The best way to remember is it's simply an indicator of risk. So above 1, the safer the stock is. Below 1, the riskier the stock is. I see Steve saying, I have an Android phone, but my interface looks different than yours. So Steve, there should be an update that you can go ahead and do, and that'll get it all up to date just so you're on the same version as I am. Derek said he just did it. So awesome. Thank you for confirming that, Derek. So then the next indicator we look at is the RT, which once again is the short-term price trend of the stock. Above one, short-term trend is up. Below one, short-term trend is down. At 0.91, that tells us that this stock is moving lower. On a scaling of 0 to 2, it's not the worst, but still moving lower, losing us money right now. So overall, the stock is below 1 on the VST level, so therefore it's not favorable. If we take a look at the graph, just tapping on at the top, as you can see, it pulls right up. I'll go ahead and switch it to landscape so you guys can see this a little bit better here. And this is one of the differences you'll notice when compared to the iOS version. Give me one moment here. There we go. All right. So as you can see, the graph does look a little bit different. At the bottom, you now have the ability when you're in horizontal mode or full screen mode to switch between the different categories of overview, watch list, portfolios, picks, and more. Also, one other feature that I found pretty useful when I was going through this is the magnifying glass in the upper right, so you can quickly go from one stock to the next, even while in the graphs. This definitely makes it a lot easier for the individual to use, especially if you're comparing two stocks or don't have your stocks into a watch list quite yet, so you want to get from one stock to the next very quickly. But everything else is going to be pretty standard. You have the graph shown in candlesticks. At the bottom right now, we have the earnings per share EPS number. And if we take a look, we have the time frames at the top. So we can go 6 months, we can go 3 months, and zoom in more and more and more. So looking at 6 months, as you can see, the stock's been relatively flat. You did have a quick spike over the last week or so, and that's quickly reversed, moving it even lower, which is what that RT is indicating. So therefore, you're probably going to be, a little concerned with this one, and maybe reevaluating, the reasons you purchased it and asking yourself, are the reasons I purchased this stock still true today? So we get back out of that, go back into the list. There we go. Jay saying he has a flip phone. Jay, if you still have a flip phone, more power to you. But as we can see, it defaults right back to VST, so we have all that taken care of, and we can go from best to worst. If you change the sort, let's say back to RT, you notice the indicator to the right of the stock ticker symbol changes as well. It then resorts it and tells you the RT value rather than just the VST value. So this is a great way to manage your portfolio, especially on the go, just by simply doing a few steps of building your own watch list. So after the watch list, next thing is going to be the portfolios. Why is it? This should have been all set up. This was set up just a few moments ago, so I'm not sure why it's showing this. But this is essentially the new setup as well. This is a new feature that's going to be coming to the Android that you guys have access to. Instead of just having a one or none kind of idea, you now have the ability to select whether you want an essential plan, which just comes with some of the more basic features, or the premium plan, which is going to come with all the features that I show week in and week out. So as we can see, it is set up right now. I guess the account got changed somehow. Let's go ahead, upgrade now. See if I can do this without having it charge it. All right, so doesn't look like it's going to be able to let me do it. I thought it was all set up, but the portfolios are essentially going to be just like they are on the iPhone there. You can use the back button to go back here. You get the picks list, which at the top of the picks list, this is something brand new that's been on the iPhone but now has access to on the Android. I know a lot of you Android users out there have been asking for this time and time again. You finally have access to it. So at the top, you have the color guard gauge once again. So it tells you, whether it's okay to buy today or whether it's not okay to buy today. So you don't have to flip back and forth between the overview and the picks. And then you have them broken down into categories. So you have hot stocks. So these are going to be, your high momentum stocks. So for you short-term traders or swing traders, even day traders can find some great picks from these lists. If you have the retirement stocks, these are going to be your more long-term holdings, your fundamentally sound companies that may not give you the best return, but also are going to have more safety and less risk associated with them. Then something new is the hot industries, where you can now see industry rotation more frequently, and you'll see the top 5 industries right at the top here. So as those change, these will also change inside the app to give you at any time of the day, any point, which are the hottest industries in the market right now. And then, as always, we have the premium stock pick ideas, or premium watch list, if you will, where you get the Midas touch stocks, you get the highest RS stocks, or the safest stocks with buy ratings. You have some screening capabilities in there as well with the featured screens, and those all, as we saw with the portfolios with the 2 different options, those all are included with the premium version and not the essential version. So I want to make sure that's clear for everybody. So if you're new or thinking about taking out a trial or what you're looking for, it's always going to be, or those 2 from the premium stock pick ideas do require the premium version and don't come with the essential version. And then under the more, pretty basic here, you have the premium watch list once again that you can get, same as from the picks. You have the market watch list, which is something that we talk about week in and week out. I believe you get these with the essential and the premium. But I can, if anybody's interested, you can give our support a call. They can get you all the sheet about which one is which and which has which features. So if you're looking for certain features, you can always take a look at that. Or you can just in the app, pick it or pull it up and show exactly the differences between the 2 when you're looking at the essentials or the premium there. So one of the things that is crucial here that we talked about, something that came from our Facebook live sessions, is the ETF pairs, bearish and bullish. These are great tools that you can use to help find not only, ETFs based on the overall market, but also it's a great indicator on which way the market is moving. So right now, as we can see, the RT is above 1 for the bulls, below 1 for the bears. So that tells us the market's in an uptrend. It's been in a strong uptrend, which we should already know because we've had a really good pop off of the bottom since the March lows there. Maria's saying, I would love to have the green light on the app. So on the full version, on the premium version, it does have the full color guard as well, like we show week in and week out with the in our other live sessions. So if you want to see how that works, just go back and watch any of our previous videos that we've done. But that will have the color guard. If you don't want the color guard, that's fine. You have the gauge at the top you can read off of as well. No options. Okay, perfect. Thank you for that, Jennifer. So yeah, Tony, the Options Pro has a lot of data that comes into it and a lot of processing power, RAM that it requires. So very, very, very few phones that I'm aware of have the kind of capability it requires to run Options Pro. And so that's why we don't have the Options Pro as a mobile version. And even the phones that I'm aware of that could possibly try to handle the processing power, put the iPhone price cost to shame, or put a high-end Samsung or Android phone to shame and make it look like pennies. So I don't think most people are going to be using those phones to begin with. Does anyone know how you can access Options Pro Advantage on the cell phone? So Options Pro Advantage, is that the site for the Options Pro courses that they do? Or is that, I'm trying to refresh my memory on that, Tony, because if it's a website, you can just pull up the browser and go to it that way. If you're looking for just the Options Pro software, that is not going to be on the mobile version for right now. All right, so besides that, what other questions, features, functionality do you guys want to see? Let me know in the comment section. While you guys are putting that in, we'll go ahead and start to analyze any stock that you want to take a look at. So if you have stocks that you guys have been waiting for to see how VectorVest ranks them, analyzes them, put them in the comments section, let me know. Also, while you're doing that, while you're getting your stocks that you want to take a look at in, don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to hit that share button. All that helps me out and lets me know, that you guys are enjoying these sessions. So if you haven't already done that, go ahead and do that. For the hot stocks, is there a market lag or real-time info? So Nick, that's a great question. So as you can see at the top of the app, it says data is delayed by 15 minutes. So there is a 15-minute delay. If you have the real-time desktop version though, however, then you will automatically get real-time data to your mobile app as well. It'll sync up with the desktop version. If you're strictly on mobile like we are here, then just the mobile version by itself is on a 15-minute delay, regardless of which version you're on. Let's see. So Kevin, these features, Derek mentioned earlier, these features are out already. So you just got to go to your App Store or the Google Play Store and look for the update. If you don't see it, just simply uninstall, reinstall. That should also update it as well. For the hot stocks, okay, so I answered that one. Let's see, WL Access. Okay. So yeah, that's the one through VectorVest 7. That's the desktop application for Options Pro there, Tony. And that was going back to what I was saying originally is, no phone out there has the capability except for maybe one or two out there that are price range is just, out of most people's reach. But there's no phone out there that can handle the processing power required when you have all that options data and all of those calculations that go through on that. One suggestion I used to give when I was out on the floor and I was doing support and some of the tech help is there's an app out there called TeamViewer that allows you to remote into your desktop application or your desktop at home, as long as it's on that desktop at home and your desktop is up and running at the time. You can do that possibly, and then you would just be basically using your computer at home but showing it through your phone. You could do it that way, or one of the ways as well, the easiest thing to do is look at those Windows tablets. The Surface Pros are great. They're great for on the go. They run full Windows applications as well, so therefore you'd be able to get the Options Pro on one of those. Those are really the best two options for that kind of or for what you're looking for right now. All right, and while we're waiting for people to put in their stocks, as you can see right now, we are now 3 ticks into the green. Let's go take a look. Still not at a 2-to-1 advanced to declines bias, so therefore still have a little hesitation in the market. Looking at the major indices though, the Dow is still down, NASDAQ is still down, S&P is still down, VectorVest Composite still holding in about 0.5% higher for the day though. All right, so not seeing any stock requests. When do these new features? Okay, we've got that answered. Watchlist access, that through VectorVest 7. So yeah, if you have VectorVest 7, you have watchlist built with that. Inside the desktop application, they will sync up to the mobile app as well. So it's real easy to make it convenient for yourself on the go to be able to do that. There we go. Now starting to see some requests coming in. So let's go ahead, put our first one in, Ford. So Ford, looking at these indicators, RV has poor long-term potential since it's below 1. RS, which is the safety factor, is below 1, so that tells us there's more risk associated with it. However, RT is at 1.5, telling us it's in a strong uptrend. So this is more of a speculative stock and has strong momentum currently, so therefore the stock is favorable, but not for the faint of heart. If you're somebody who's more of a long-term investor, you're probably going to be staying away from this for the time being. If you're somebody who's trading on news, momentum, those types of situations, yeah, then this is definitely an option that you could consider. Let's go ahead. GPS. Have you done PFE yet? Not yet, Tom, but we can definitely get to that here. All right, so looking at Gap, poor long-term potential, a lot of risk associated with it, but it's in a really strong momentum or a really strong uptrend right now, so therefore the stock is favorable. Once again, this is speculation. Gap has had a lot of struggles over the last 10 plus years. So everything that you're seeing, the strong momentum, is really just speculation right now. There's not consistent fundamental data out there to back up the moves that we're seeing so far. So keep that in mind if you're trading it. It is a speculative play for the time being. All right, AEO. There we go. American Eagle. So a lot of retailers coming out. I see a lot of people probably paying attention to the news where, it shows that people are going out and retailers, brick and mortar stores are actually having a decent time throughout this recovery from the pandemic. And I see that reflecting in a lot of these numbers. However, American Eagle, not one of them. It has the RV and RS both below 1, which tells us this is a speculative stock. RT is at 0.95, tells us that it's in a slight downtrend right now. Therefore, the stock is not favorable. Definitely a different look than what we were seeing with the Gap or GPS just a moment ago. Also, one cool feature that, if you guys notice, there is now the Trade Now button in the bottom right. So if you have an account with, if you have an account, I'll just pull it up so you guys can see us. Ally, Interactive Brokers, TradeStation, or for our Canadian subscribers, Questrade, you can send your trades directly to those brokers using the app now as well. So just wanted to throw that out there. Does make it a nice feature to have. So let's go back here. LINC. Lincoln Education. Great long-term potential. It does have some risk associated with it though, but really strong momentum, so therefore the stock is favorable. PFE. Looking at Pfizer. So poor long-term potential, a little bit more risk associated with it when compared to the average stock out there. Steady uptrend, so therefore the stock is favorable. If you're going to be taking a stock with an RV and RS both below 1, we typically like to see a higher RT, but to each their own. If you're willing to get into that, that there's additional risk associated with it, so make sure your trading plan is adjusted accordingly. NLOK. NLOK. Good long-term potential, poor safety factors, so a lot of risk associated with it. It's in a steady uptrend. Overall, the stock's about average so far. J&J. J&J, good long-term potential, great safety with this stock. It's kind of flat right now, but the fundamentals outweigh that the strength of the uptrend, so therefore the stock is still favorable. Let's see, CHGG. Good long-term potential, less risk associated with it. Really strong momentum play right now as well, so therefore the stock's definitely favorable. HMY. HMY, great long-term potential, about average risk associated with it, but as we've been talking about over the last few months here, really since the beginning of the year, strong momentum in the gold and mining or gold and silver industry, and we see that here. 1.94, really strong uptrend, up almost 5% here today. Yeah, definitely a favorable play right now. HL. And real quick, just curious about it. Did anybody get the update here? I want to just take a quick poll. Actually, give me 1 second. Let me just create a quick poll. I want everybody to answer it, if you will. Let's see. All right, so I just put a poll out there. If you guys wouldn't mind just taking a second, just answering that quick question, that'll really help me out. Make sure that, you know, our notifications are reaching everybody, and that way everybody can get the information they need. Mic sounds different today. Not sure why. I did lower it a little bit there, Joey, but yeah, if you guys could take the second just to answer yes or no, that would really help me out and make sure that, you know, we're giving you guys the best experience out there as well. All right, so looking at HL, good long-term potential, a little bit more risk associated with it, but not, you know, a little less than average, or a little more than average, but really strong momentum, so therefore the stock is favorable right now. Once again, though, gold and silver stocks, of course, they're going to be big performers here. Let's go SLVR. There we go. SLVR. Maybe SLVRF. So poor long-term potential, a lot of risk associated with it, but steady uptrend, but not enough of an uptrend to make the stock overall favorable right now. VUZI. Let's see, VUZI, poor long-term potential, a lot of risk associated with it, so it tells us this stock is definitely a speculative play, but you have really strong momentum, so therefore the stock is favorable. KIRK. And also, folks, as I'm going through this, just remember, if you're already a subscriber, you can update the app by going to the App Store, downloading the update. Make sure you refresh it if you don't see it. If you need to, just simply uninstall, reinstall. That should fix any issues as well. And you can go ahead and analyze your stocks at any time on the go, wherever you're at, the same way we're doing it here. If you're not already a subscriber, there is a link in the description of the video where you can click on and get started right away with the premium version, so it has everything that you see here. So KIRK, poor long-term potential, a lot of risk associated with it, but really strong momentum play right now. Therefore, the stock is favorable. GDOT, poor long-term potential, a lot of risk associated with it. Really strong momentum, so speculative stock, but good momentum. So therefore, for you speculative investors out there, this is a good play. For you prudent to conservative investors, probably going to pass on a stock like that for the time being. All right, ZY Zynga, so ZYNG. There we go. So good long-term potential, a little bit more risk associated with it for the time being. Nice strong uptrend, so overall the stock is favorable. Also, one other thing as well is you can scroll down here. You can get the full stock analysis report right below the 4 indicators now, which gives you a detailed written out version of everything that we just talked about, what the stock does, where its headquarters is at, and then a breakdown of every single one of our indicators, you know, their definitions, what type of information we look at when coming up with that indicator. So therefore, this is basically like a big cheat sheet for you here, and a great resource to use, you know, especially if you're new getting started with the mobile app. All right, so I just wanted to point that out. Let's see, CLSN. CLSN. Poor long-term potential, a lot of risk associated with it. Timing is basically at 0, so therefore the stock is definitely not favorable. This is why, you know, this can happen quite frequently. You saw, let's go ahead and change it. So we'll go to graph settings at the bottom, change the lower graph indicator to RT, go back. You can see you saw a big spike with RT when that stock had a blast off, but we knew it was a speculative play. Look what happened. After the traders were out of it, the stock dropped back down all the way from a high of like 650, let's call it, back down to $1. This is why speculative stocks are only for people who are trading on a very, very short-term basis and not for the buy and hold investor or the prudent to conservative investor. That's a great example of why we talk about this day in and day out. All right. Let's see. DOCU. DOCU, about average long-term potential, a little bit more risk associated with it, but you have a really strong short-term uptrend, so therefore the stock's favorable right now. GMAB. All right, GMAB, great long-term potential. A little bit more risk associated with it, though. Really strong uptrend right now, so therefore the stock is favorable. Prosy, let's go ahead. PROSY. So, poor long-term potential. A lot of risk associated with it. You do have some strong momentum currently, but not enough to outweigh the poor fundamentals, so therefore the stock is not favorable right now. All right, we'll do a couple of more, and then we'll start to wrap things up for the day. So AMD. So AMD, great long-term potential, less risk associated with it, nice strong uptrend, therefore the stock is definitely favorable. This would be classified as a prudent stock, and this is, a great example of that. All right, and lastly, EQX. Another gold stock. So, great long-term potential. A little bit more risk associated with it, though. Really strong momentum currently. Therefore, the stock is definitely favorable. So, Steve, with that, I will take that to our development team to figure out what's going on, because I was told it should be out there. Some people are seeing it. Some people are not seeing it. I'm not sure why that is. That may be something... Android may be just taking a while to update the store to everybody. So it could be, I'm not saying it's there or it's on them or it's on us. I honestly don't know. But I will have our development team take a look at that to make sure everybody can get the new update as soon as possible there. So thank you for bringing that to my attention. Thank you guys for taking part in the polls. That definitely helped as well. So now I can, get that and be able to take that to our development as well to make sure you guys get updates and notifications every time we go live, so you guys don't miss out on all this great education and all this useful information here. All right, so just quickly recapping what's going on right now. We're still 3 ticks into the into the green, therefore the market is bullish. VectorVest advocates buying safe, undervalued stocks that are rising in price at this time. Once again, you can always check out the daily color guard report for more information on it. We have 51% of stocks moving higher, so we are seeing a slight push higher for the time being, where the declines have stuck about the same, around 37%. Still not the 2-to-1 we'd like to see, but we do see a slight uptick in the advances. Unfortunately, not enough to really give us that full bullish bias we'd prefer to see. Looking at the major indices, the Dow has actually improved a little bit since we first started today. NASDAQ has actually gotten a little worse, down almost 0.2% here. S&P essentially flat still, just like it was when we first started. Overall, VectorVest Composite hasn't really moved much, still around 0.5% higher for the day. So with that information, folks, it's my pleasure being with you here today. I hope you all have enjoyed yourself. If you have any issues with updating to the newest version, give our support a call. They'd be glad to help you out. I will take a look on my end as well to make sure everything gets set up there and everything is good for you guys. But this was supposed to be a sneak peek. So it may just be starting to roll out, which sometimes it takes a few days to get it rolled out to everybody. Just how apps happen. The release is not 100% received yet by Google. Google decides its release. You should see the update within 24 hours, but it could be a few days. Awesome. So thank you for that, Jennifer. Thank you for verifying that. So if you guys have enjoyed yourself today, if you guys are excited about the new Android update, don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to hit that share button. Share it with your friends. Share it with your family. All that helps me out. Continues to grow our sessions here. So with that in mind, I hope you all have a great rest of your trading day. Have a great weekend. Be safe out there. Take care, and we will see you all next Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern. Bye for now, everybody. Have a great day.